and they let take me home. Oh, but I just the beat, the trumpet make a sound. Oh, man do yo, and they let take me home. Oh, dele, 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 oh, dele, 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 dele. You better just a beat, the trumpet making sound. All I do is yo, and they'll take me home. The music can me go. Music, they can me go. Music can me go. Music, they can me go.
That piece of beautiful Afrocentric jazz piece has brought the time to 13 minutes past 12 here in the studio of Apex One Radio. It's Sunday, the 2nd of July, 2023. Thank you so much for always choosing Apex One Radio. We broadcast 24/7 from the United States of America, precisely from the city of Columbus. Columbus is the chief city of the state of Ohio. We are in the Midwestern regions of the country. And so thank you so much for joining Apex One Radio. You're listening there to Dele. Dele is an Afrocentric piece, like I mentioned earlier on. And it is a masterpiece put together by Telem Uncommon Sounds. It is a jazz group from Sierra Leone in West Africa. Just to mention that Telem Uncommon Sounds, in collaboration with the Sierra Leonean Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, will be effecting a trip to the United States of America come August this year. Like I mentioned earlier on, Telem Uncommon Jazz or Uncommon Sounds, it's a group made up of 3 musicians. There is Solos Beat. Solos Beat is a keyboard music producer and songwriter. He's also a sound engineer. And we have Kate Cronteris, who is a singer and songwriter from the United States of America. She's part of that group as well. And also on the August 2023 trip, you will be having Iyabode. Iyabode is also a songwriter from Sierra Leone, Roslyn Iyabode Johnson. So the 3 will be taking part at the 2023 music workshop in the United States of America. And the trip, like I mentioned earlier on, will be in conjunction with the Sierra Leonean Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. We will be receiving Telem Uncommon Sounds in the studio of Apex One Radio. Hopefully that will be possible. So like I mentioned, the group will be here in the United States in August of this year. So watch out for that if you're just joining us, this is Apex One Radio, and this is a new edition of Apex Anthology, which is about to begin on the station. Apex Anthology is that show that focuses on poetry, one of the literary genre which is not that much promoted, but which we do well to promote here on Apex One Radio. And today our focus will be on the spoken word. I'm looking forward to receiving Mottanni. Mottanni is a great spoken word artist who's been on radio a couple of times, and today he comes to present his new EP. As a matter of fact, you will be listening to him, recite some of those very beautiful pieces here on Apex Anthology today. So once again, thank you so much. Welcome on board. Welcome to the new month. It's July 2023, and we're wishing you the best. Hopefully it's going to be a fantastic July, and we will be here on Apex One Radio to make sure that you have a smooth and hitch-free month of July 2023. And so thank you so much. My name is Ernest Maxel Agiris in Valsuch in Switzerland or in Germany, controlling this broadcast digitally from that end. Our guests will be joining us right ahead, so do not go away. This is Apex Anthology, now beginning on Apex One Radio. So let's go. So thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself across the globe. Welcome to this special edition of Apex Anthology, reaching you live from the studio of Apex One Radio, situated at the northern belt of the city of Columbus. We are in the United States of America. And so spoken word poetry is one big area of poetry, which is very, very interesting, very impactful. And of course, spoken word artists have, sojourned the world with their very strong messages. But one of the things that makes these particular genre of poetry is its coloration. Now, it is not just ordinary poetry where it's been recited or it's been read, but then it's been performed as a matter of fact. And so we have some poets who are specialized in this area of poetry called the spoken word, and each time they go on stage and perform, it is an indelible impact they are leaving in their audience. One of them is Mottanni. Mottanni has been on radio a couple of times. He is a venerated spoken word artist with scores of works, some of which we've had the opportunity to highlight here on Apex One Radio. He's a very hard-working artist who never goes to sleep, and for the past couple of weeks, he's been in the background preparing something very big for his audience. And so today he wants to unveil that very sumptuous package, a package which you and I will, be very glad to receive. And of course, we will savor with all what it takes. And so without much ado, let me bring my guests on the airwaves so we can begin this very beautiful poetic conversation this Sunday on Apex One Radio. Mottanni now joins me from Bamenda. Mottanni, welcome to the program. How are you today as you unmute yourself?
Thank you very much, Ernest. Thank you, and a big good afternoon to all the listeners of Apex One Radio. And I am doing so great. Thank you so much for having me.
How are you today?
I'm super good and super excited. This new baby that just been released.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And of course, we want to continue to congratulate you. We've done that, on this platform because you're a hard-working artist who does not go to sleep. Because when I listen to your works, it tells me you put in, you put in a lot. So, tell me before we even get to talking about yourself. We are in 2023. Tell me, what is the state of affairs of the spoken word in Cameroon today? Is it something which you think has been valorized enough, or there is still a long road to go?
All right. First and foremost, I will say that this particular 2023 has been amazing for spoken word poetry, and precisely because of the number of poems that have been released online so that everybody can consume around the world. I'm sure you know of Penboy's "Native of the Universe" album that he just released, and I'm sure you also watched Nyaga Sandi's "African Child," and also Makalonge has been releasing a lot of poems on hate speech. So it has been really intense, and it has been really a walking year for the spoken word poet in Cameroon. And valorization, I'm very, very happy because as of now, Penboy is going on a tour around the country just because of poetry. And we also have Makalonge, who is linked to so many international organizations who are helping him to make sure that the poetry gets the place it needs. The valorization is ongoing, and we are hoping that it gets more exposure, more value in the future. But for now, it's really good.
What distinguishes the spoken word from ordinary poetry, which can be read like that?
Okay. One thing about spoken word poetry is it's a melange. It's like music. It's like music. And one thing is that, when you look at poetry in general, most times the conventional poetry is written and published in books, and everybody can read, and then you get your own interpretation of the poem. But in most cases, when it comes to spoken word poetry, most of the pieces are written by the performers themselves in such a way that once it is being done, you have that pleasure to be able to savor the emotions and even the feelings that the poet encompassed while he was writing the poem. And also, it's also done with a melange of music. And also, it's done with the melange of music, which makes it more soothing and more entertaining.
All right. So we're speaking with a spoken word specialist. Mottanni is an artist par excellence with scores of works to his credit. He is about to release his latest EP, and we'll get to discover, those beautiful pieces in this edition of Apex Anthology, just on Apex One Radio. He's live from Birmingham. We're broadcasting from the United States of America. It's Sunday, the 2nd of July, 2023. And of course, we want to welcome you if you're just joining us on ApexOneRadio.com or on the Radio Guardian, or even if you're listening to us on the TuneIn app, then thank you so much for joining us on their program. And for those of you who will be joining us on Facebook, we want to say thank you as well. Right. So, Mottanni, back to you. Before we talk about your latest work, so if you want to do a finger count of the works you've put out there, how many do you have so far?
Okay, if I'm doing a finger count of what is out there now, I would say I have, I think it's 20 studio recorded pieces of spoken word poetry.
Okay.
20 plus, yes. Studio recorded.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Now, you mentioned earlier on that it is a melange, with music. That is what makes it unique. Tell me about the music aspect of it. Do you just get any soundtrack for a piece of work, or you have to make sure that the soundtrack aligns with the message in the poem?
When it comes to music, we are very sensitive because we are very conscious of the frequency, how the frequency of music affects the person listening, what the frequency of music does to our inner selves, because they are healing frequencies, they are joy frequencies, they are sad frequencies. So when it comes to using music in poetry, we always make sure if it's a sad poem, let's look for let's create, or we look for music that brings out, that has that sad frequency, such that even without you hearing the words, the instrumental should be able to bring out, to be able to make you say that, okay, this poem that is supposed to be done on this thing is supposed to be sad. So we are very conscious about music frequencies.
Okay, that's beautiful. So, is it your first EP?
Yes, it is. It is actually the first EP, but my second work because the Dark Light Poetry album had been released last year. Dark
Okay.
Light Poetry album that contains 14 poems, and then now it is a poetry EP because it's solely focused on addressing gender-based violence, on giving a healing feel to those who are victims, survivors, or perpetrators of gender-based violence. So
Mm.
every piece in the EP is on GBV.
Okay, that's interesting, and we will have him, present some of those works in this edition of Apex Anthology and Apex One Radio. If you are just joining us and coming across this show for the first time, it is called Apex Anthology, show which we started in February of 2018. And on the show, we focus on poetry, the branch of literature which deals with a lot of emotions, which actually brings out the artistry in its in the author of poetic works, including our guest today, who is live from Bamenda. Mottanni is about to unleash his latest EP. We will be finding out just what works are in this package. And of course, he'll be talking to us about these masterpieces. How many poems do you have in this latest EP, Mottanni?
All right. The poetry EP or GBV, it's titled Bruises, and it contains 5 poems. 5 poems which are written by, you have myself, you have Lanjo Coaching, Lanjo Sidonus therefore, who is my personal coach and trainer. Then you also have Asongafak Marie Therese, who had to come in to give us the female part perspective of the GBV.
All right, that's beautiful. And so this new sumptuous package comprises of 5 beautiful poems, which we will have the single opportunity to savor in this edition of the show. Then, for each of them, the author will be explaining in depth. So without much ado, Mottanni, just to mention that unfortunately we could not have the recorded version because of incompatibility with our broadcast software, but we will work on that, and in subsequent edition we'll be able to play that. So that notwithstanding, since you are here, it will be nice, to get it from you. So let us start talking about these works you have in your EP. Let's pick the first title and rush through it and talk about it. So which one do we start with?
All right. I think we'll start with Bruises 1, which is titled The Genesis of GBV. We start with Bruises 1.
The Genesis of, I didn't get that.
The Genesis of Gender-Based Violence. The title is Bruises 1, The Genesis.
Verses 1, The Genesis of Gender-Based Violence. All right. Gender-based violence. By the way, before we get to that poem, we cannot assume that everybody understands what we mean by gender-based violence. What does that mean?
Gender-based violence is any act that is meted out to some person or to another person, any negative act that is meted out to another person based on their gender, an act that you portray or you exhibit on another person because of whether they are male or female. Any negative act that you do on another person because they are either male or because they are either female.
Right. So if a man tells his wife that I need my food right now, you are the woman in the house, so give my food. I mean, in a very rude manner, would you consider that as gender-based violence?
I would consider that as verbal. They call it a verbal gender-based violence because one thing I know is that being a husband and a wife in a house, it is preferable to always make a request than give a command. Sincerely, Yeah.
And if a woman tells a man that, you know, I need money right now, it's your responsibility as a man to give me money, and she says that in a very uncouth manner, is that gender-based violence as well?
Sincerely, when you look at it that way, when you look at it from that perspective, it is. Because once you start making demands, and based on the fact that, okay, he's the man, and he has to do this, he must do this, then you are violating his rights, because being a man does not mean that there are certain things that you must do at that particular time.
Mm-hmm. And if a man tells a woman who comes to the living room that, no, go to the kitchen, the woman's place is in the kitchen, is that violence as well? That
is way 100% gender-based violence. Accepting a particular position in the society for a particular gender, especially a position that you know very well that they are not comfortable with, or they can do better in some other place.
Mm-hmm. And if a man refuses to carry the baby and says the woman should have the baby on her back, that is not his role to carry the baby, is that gender-based violence?
Those are situations of gender-based violence that is about requesting. It's about requesting. And gender-based violence, as you say, it's just basically making us understand that there is no particular job that should be meant just for the man, but should be meant just for the woman. If she is sure and can perform in that particular position, then let her perform in that position. Don't deprive her of the position because she's a woman, or don't deprive him of the position because he's a man.
All right. I guess we've had a clue of what gender-based violence could mean. And that said, let's move on to the genesis of gender-based violence. Mottanni, over to you.
All right. I was so young. Everything I did, you applauded strong. When I hit my brother, you said my limbs were developing well. You said I was being and becoming the man. When I talked without control to Papa, to my brother, you said I was developing my vocals, I was standing up for myself. Every single time, you attributed my aggressiveness to Nasmo Pekin. You know, Sabi what you need to do. Who began to teach me the correct thing to do. I was just a toddler, some say. But I can remember vividly how you rained insults on Papa day in, day out, as if they were his admission fees or nutrients and vitamins required for daily living. Thank God he was strong enough not to raise a hand. But when I saw it, I thought it was the way. So I decided to walk your way. And now my body hurts because I feel like you led me astray. When Papa left you, you felt so dejected and rejected, filled with so much rage and anger that when you turned around and saw me, all you could see is him in me, and your rage for the gender you poured on me, punishing me for the sins of my father, which I knew nothing about. What could I do, Mama? For I loved you and interpreted your actions for love and learned the only way to show love was the way you showed it to me. How untrue. Dada, you left Mama in so much pain that for every member of the gender you came in contact with, the schema you let Mama create in you ruled the way you treated them. You could no longer take that much, so you decided to use your hand to shut them up even before they could say as much, to the point that even to your daughter, you exhibited violence and she developed the hatred for your gender and vowed to never let that happen to her. So she used her words, her mouth as self-defense, but deep down this word came from the hurt and the pain she had to go through all her life. Nada. Little did I know, there is always another way. The way of love that endures. The way of love that does not hurt. The way of love that forgives. The way of love that walks away, not because I hate you, but because I love you and love me too much to allow myself to be treated less than a human. The way of love that forgives. But alas, here I am in this dark abyss, trying to give the things I was never given, trying to do the things that was never done to me. Mama, did you give up on me too? Dada, what if you didn't leave? What What if you stay back and teach me the right path? Your love and upbringing got me here, in this dark abyss where I can't find my way through. That is Bruises 1, the Genesis.
Beautiful piece there by Mottanni. It's titled The Genesis of Gender-Based Violence. Spoken word masterpiece there, which is found in his latest EP. The artist is live on radio in this edition of Apex Anthology. And of course, if you're just joining us, then thank you so much. We will be right back to talk about gender-based violence.
You see this life, we are born to see. Not delay, tell me no, no journey hustle. It's all like magic, but we are born to see, we are for hustle. As you see me, they pass up and down and it's storm, the parts of the hustle. Yeah, as we wake up morning to Satan, make we hustle and all make. Oh, but if we want to, but we hustle. Morning and Satan, me good night, next man, and they hustle. I that
Meantime, you're listening to Hustle by Solo Beats from the Telem Uncommon Sounds. It is an Afrocentric jazz group which will be in the United States of America in August of this year to take part in the music workshop. And that group will be traveling from Freetown, Sierra Leone, with the cooperation of the Sierra Leonean Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. They will be live on Apex One Radio in the coming weeks. This is Apex Anthology on Apex One Radio. Do not go away.
Do it so you're able to be honest. Nothing to prove. Defend the money, use your head, use yourself. Nothing to prove. Body, no nigga, when we all go to make a yourself go witness. As we wake up morning to Sunday, they bring us all along. How much it we go along, but what we go
Welcome back, Mottanni.
Thank you once again, MS.
So, how long is this poem you just recited?
The studio recorded version is 4 minutes 21 seconds.
4 minutes 21 seconds. Right. Okay, that's great. So, how long did it take you to complete the genesis of gender-based violence, from conception of the idea of the poem to writing it to recording it in the studio?
It took me close to, I would say close to 2 months to do that.
Okay.
Because we had to actually, the poem was written by myself, Lanjo, and Songafak Marie-Therese. So we had to do some research on the gender-based violence to make sure that whatever is put into this piece should be backed by research. So that's why it took us a lot of time to first of all come up with the write-up. So and then also collaborating from different parts of the country, because we do it on Google Documents, and we also use Google Keep to write and share and see how we can edit. Then finally it was then recorded. Finally, the next thing was to look for a sound engineer who could be able to create the sound that would first of all reflect the write-up. That you can only listen to the sound and be able to depict what will be there. And then we found Ringo Charles of Hilltop Music Academy, who could give us an instrumental that will fit into that piece. So it took us 2 months to actually conceive the Bruises, the Bruises 1, and then record it in the studio.
So while we were speaking something caught my attention. You mentioned that you had to go out there and conduct some research to come out with the content of this poem. I would have expected, that as artists, you just get inspired, and the words just come flowing, and you go ahead and you pen them down. So, do you really needed to do research, or are you saying that as intellectual poets, you also need to be scientific, in packaging your content?
Very, very beautiful question, Ellen. What I know is that, and this is my personal belief, that what comes out of you most times is what you have put in. So that is why we had to go and do the research, so that we at least have an idea, or have a clue of what the gender-based violence is, the various forms of gender-based violence, and we have examples. We looked at examples of gender-based violence, how it started from different families.
Okay.
Then from there, when those things have been known and are within you, then when inspiration comes, you can now write. You can now write from being inspired, but what comes out of you is backed by what you already know. Because the challenge is writing most times without knowing as an artist, especially when it comes to sensitive topics like gender-based violence. When you write without knowing or checking on research, you might write something that research actually does not back it up. And when you write without research actually backing it up, then in the long run, that art might be useless in some years to come.
Beautiful. Beautifully explained there. And so the artist says whatever you're writing, especially when it comes to sensitive topics, must be evidence-based, which means that you need to do a lot of research. And there's scores of databases out there from where you can pick up, information that is credible. Well, thank you so much, Mottanni. This is Apex Anthology on Apex One Radio. So, back to the poem. Tell us about the poem itself. Is it somebody telling their story? And if that is the case, why did you use that style?
Okay. When you look at Bruises 1, which is the Genesis 1 is a story of a man that has actually grown up. He has grown up and found himself being violent on the female gender, being violent on his friend, his wife, and all that. And it's also a story of a woman who has grown up and found themselves being violent, or exhibiting gender-based violence. So they are now reflecting on how they were brought up. And they realize that, remember, in the African context that we are, when a male child is growing up and is hostile or is violent towards other people, we instead applaud. We say applaud and we say encourage and say with the promotion that he is being the man. That he is the man, he's supposed to be violent, he's supposed to be disrespectful, how men are supposed to be. So we applaud them when they are still young. When they hit things or they hit people, we say their limbs are developing well. So that we are looking at it from that perspective, that it might be that when they grow up, not being discouraged to do these things, when they grow up and it's already in them, they start exhibiting it even as adults. And at that time, they have no control, because if every behavior, you start by exhibiting or practicing the behavior until the behavior may have you. So they are not discouraged when they are young. Especially even the ladies, when they are very vocal, we say they are developing their vocals, they are turning up on themselves. We don't correct them, or we don't look at the situations to which they are vocal to see if they really warrant that kind of act of behavior. We just encourage kids to do anything with the pretext of that they are still young and they will change in the future. Meanwhile, we could have corrected them when they are young, because when we correct them when they are young, it will be better. So they have grown up with it, and every situation that you have observed and seen, because research told us that children learn more than 60% of whatever they do in the future. They learn it either from observing what people are doing, or from watching what people are doing, or from hearing what people are saying. So as the children are growing up, these things, they even see their neighbors exhibiting gender-based violence, they are already copying it, it's already embedded in them. If they see their parents at home exhibiting gender-based violence, it's already embedded in them subconsciously and waiting for the right situation to manifest. That is why we went ahead to look at it from the perspective of a point where parents give birth to children and then they are divorced. The mother looks at the female child and sees, the father looks at the female child and sees the mother and starts exhibiting violence on that female child. The mother looks at the male child and sees the father and starts exhibiting violence on that male child. These children are very young. In most cases, they believe that mommy and daddy love them. So whatever is being done on them, they interpret it as an act of love. So when they grow up and if they've never been exposed to something different, they will feel like love is being expressed violently. So when that situation shows its ugly head, they will express it violently, not because they really want to, but because that's the only way they know how, and that's the only way they were shown how to show love.
Love cannot be expressed by the use of violence. That is not what you should teach your kids. A very strong message there from the poem The Genesis of Gender-Based Violence. The author of that masterpiece is our guest in today's edition of Apex Anthology, just on Apex One Radio, the edition of the 2nd of July 2023. Thank you so much if you are just joining us. Special thanks to Talangala. I call him Mr. Ngala. He is in Sweden and, of course, watching the show from that end. And so, this is Apex Anthology. My name is Ernest Maxwell in Germany, precisely in the HO city of Wales, controlling this broadcast digitally from that end. And so, thank you once again. Let's take a break with Telem on Common Sounds. This time around, we were listening to Idleness. Then we'll be talking more. Do not go yet. The show is still ongoing. What a beautiful piece of jazz there. Tell them on Common Sounds. It's a Sierra Leonean Afrocentric jazz group which is on promotion here on Apex One Radio. The group is made up of three wonderful musicians. You have Solos Beat, there is Kate Crontiris, and of course Iya Bode. The three artists will be live in the United States come August this year. You will have the opportunity of listening to them talk on Apex One Radio, and they will be in the States for the 2023 music workshop, which will happen in conjunction with the Sierra Leonean Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. So take note of that. Watch out. We'll be coming back to that piece of information here on Apex One Radio. Let's have a bite of it again, then our guests will be right back with us. Don't go away.
To be
Mottanni, welcome back. Welcome back, Mottanni.
Thank you very much, Ernest. Thank you so much.
Right, so do you intend to use this poem for some sensitization? If that is the case, are you working with some groups or organizations which may want to make use of the poem?
That is basically what the poem is, the entire EP is about. It's about raising more awareness using poetry about gender-based violence, and it's also about giving healing to those who have been victims and are now survivors of gender-based violence, and also to perpetrators. We are moving gradually, and you realize that the third poem in the piece is actually listening to gender-based violence from the perpetrator's own perspective. So you get there and you understand that it's about sensitization. And as of now, we've had a series of radio talks here in Bamenda. We've been to most of the major radio stations here in Bamenda to make sure that this message goes to whoever is in need. It should go to the masses. And also, I'm working with the Sheepy's Diary, which is an online platform for women. And then we also have Sajid that I'm working with. They are all women-based organizations, and we are planning to also work with. We have Hofna, we have Sajid, which is one of them. We have IBM. We have a couple of NGOs here who are advocates for women who are fighting against gender-based violence. That we are planning to get to them, work with them, so that they can use these pieces to help gender-based violence victims and survivors to be able to heal.
Right. That is beautiful. We will come back to this point subsequently, but for now, let's have a bite of the next one. So, which one are you picking next?
I would like to take the second one, which is the healing piece in this poem for gender-based violence victims or survivors. It's meant to be a healing pill for them.
Okay. The healing pill, Mottanni, let's go.
All right. It wasn't about what you wore. It wasn't about what you said. It wasn't about what you did. It wasn't about where you met. It's not about the way you walk. It's not about the way you talk. It's not about the way you dance. It's about his interpretation of your signal. Whether green, red, blue, or whatever he saw, oh no, that can be excused. We are talking about your flower here, crushed by his ego, your pride taken by force, and yet he boasts of being human, of being a man, a real man.
Apparently, we lost him there. He'll be joining us once again here on the airwaves of Apex One Radio. Anthology is reaching you live. Let's find out if Mottanni is back. Mottanni, welcome back. We're sorry we lost you.
Okay, can you get me now?
Sure, 5 on 5.
All right. So should I take it from the beginning?
Sure, you can go back to the start.
All right. It wasn't about what you wore. It wasn't about what you said. It wasn't about what you did. It wasn't about where you met. It's not about the way you walk. It's not about the way you talk. It's not about the way you dance. It's about his interpretation of your signal. Whether green, red, blue, or whatever he saw, oh no, that can be excused. We are talking about your flower here, crushed by his ego, your pride taken by force, and yet he boasts of being human, of being a man, a real man. Nonsense. See no more. You never be there for. Whether you be wearing a waiting, you need scared hot pants up and back on our only job. You never be there for.
Okay. We've lost him again. He will definitely be back. It happens. We're having some technical hitches there. If you are just joining us, then thank you so much. This is Anthology, the edition of the 2nd of July, 2023. Right, so now we're going to listen to some music again. Then we'll try to get back to our guest poets in today's edition of Apex Anthology, just on Apex One Radio. So let's go back to Telem Uncommon Sounds as the group presents we've already had Dele. Let's see what we have on our turntable. Perhaps we will do Crown by Kate Countries. All right, let's listen to that piece of music, then we'll be right back with you.
On my legacy.
Oh, that's beautiful jazz masterpiece there is titled Crown. And the lead singer in that piece of music is Kate Countries. She is part of the Telem Uncommon Sounds. It is an Afrocentric jazz group from Sierra Leone in West Africa, made up of three singers. There is Kate, there is Iyabode, and of course Solos Beats. These three artists will be taking a trip to the United States of America in August of this year to take part in the Global Music Workshop. And that trip is going to happen in conjunction with the Sierra Leonean Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. The group will be live on Apex One Radio in the coming weeks to talk about their adventure in jazz so far. And of course, if you are just joining us, thank you so much. This is Apex One Radio, 1 p.m. here in the studio. We will go back to Bamenda and continue the conversation we've been having with our guest poet on the show today. Mottanni is his name, and he's here today to present his latest EP made up of 5 beautifully packaged spoken word pieces. Mottanni Justice once again. Welcome back, Mottanni.
Thank you, Ernest. Are you getting me now?
I'm getting you now. Hopefully it will be better this time. So you can go back and begin with the healing pill like this.
All right. I apologize for the network. Are you getting me?
That's understandable.
Okay. All right. It wasn't about what you wore. It wasn't about what you said. It wasn't about what you do. It wasn't about where you met. It's not about the way you walk. It's not about the way you talk. It's not about the way you dance. It's about his interpretation of your signal. Whether green, red, blue, or whatever he saw, oh no, that can't be excused. We are talking about your flower here, crushed by his ego, your pride taken by force, and yet he boasts of being human, of being a man, a real man. Shh. Nonsense. You know, Mom, you know we've been our fault. Whether you be well or waiting.
Okay. I guess we had that piece, and definitely the message in it, you know, would have said that. So, tell us a little bit about the hidden pill. What is it in the poem? What are you talking about?
We live in a community here in Bamenda that when someone is a victim of gender-based violence, specifically rape, especially a female, the first people to justify the act or to tell them that they deserve what was done to them is their fellow woman. That's the community we live in. So when a girl is raped, the first person that will tell her that you deserve it, and they are judging based on maybe the lady's lifestyle, maybe what she wears, or the character, or where she met the guy. The first person to do that is her fellow woman. So this piece is trying, and then when they do that, it stifles these victims and makes them unwilling to speak out, unwilling to even go for counseling or even for healing, because they feel like they did something wrong for what was done to them. And so they feel like they deserve being raped. So this piece is trying to, first of all, the general idea is to make us understand that there is no good reason for doing a wrong thing. Then it goes ahead to let these ladies understand that despite what you were wearing or despite what you were doing, if you were not okay with the act, then it was not supposed to be done to you. So it means that you should be able to speak out. You should be able to move on. If you have been raped, speak out to see whether the person can get justice. And also, don't let that particular rape act ruin your entire life. We know that rape is a heinous crime, and we know that it's a lifetime something you have to be dealing with. But we want to tell you that don't let it ruin your life, because you can still make it. You can still do that great thing that the Creator sent you in this earth to do, despite that one act.
Wow. That's beautiful. The message has gone across. I guess without much ado, since we're having technical issues, let's just move to the third poem. And which one are you picking now?
All right. The third poem is the perpetrator speaking. I would like to take that one. The perpetrator speaking.
Take it again.
The third poem is Bruises 3, which is about the Bruises 3, subtitled The Remorse. The Remorse. Yes. Okay. So with the technical issues, I think let me just explain what's about.
Sure.
Okay. Bruises 3, The Remorse, it's about a perpetrator, someone who has actually committed the act of rape.
Mm-hmm.
And we believe that if a human being is deliberately causing pain on another human being,
mm-hmm.
then that human being is sick and needs help. Because no human being who is strong and healthy and in his right senses should be causing pain to another human being. If another one is, if a person is doing that, then that person is also sick and needs healing. And that is why we are looking at it from the perpetrator's perspective. Mm-hmm. And what happens in this case is that the perpetrator, it begins with the perpetrator. After he has carried out the act of rape, he hears the voice of his victim and starts asking, why is this person crying? Why is this person crying? Then when he realizes that the person is crying and standing by him or lying by him, he tries to help the person, he tries to console the person, but he realizes that the person is still running away from him. So he's asking himself, if this person is in pain and I'm trying to help them and they're running away from me, then why are they running away from me? It is at that point that he realizes that his trousers are even down. He realizes that there is blood on the girl's legs. It is at that point that he realizes that he is the one that has meted out the act of violence on that person. And it is at that point that he realizes that he has let his ego push him to do the act again. And at that point, he's now pleading with the victim that, please, make sure you report me so that I don't go loose. Make sure you report me so that I don't continue and do this on another person. And he's also very remorseful and telling the lady that the lady is not about the alcohol, it's not about what she said, it's not about what she did, but it is something took over him. He's saying that something took over him, and the lady should make sure that she should report him. She should report him because he himself needs help. That the lady should help him by reporting him so that he can also be cured or get healing, so that other people don't get to suffer like the lady has done. because we also believe that helping the perpetrator is helping the victim. Helping perpetrators of gender-based violence is helping their victims and helping their future victims. And the only way to help someone is to go down to their level of thinking, understand the way they think, then from there you can help them. That's why we have to go now and look at the perpetrator's mindset. And we realize that when they are committing that act, it's like something takes over them. And after they act, they are always very remorseful. Most women who have suffered domestic violence will tell you after they have suffered physical violence, domestic violence, their husbands are always remorseful after that. So it's like something takes over them.
Wow. That's beautiful. His name is Mottanni. We're talking about his latest EP that comprises of 5 poems. And you have the opportunity of several these poems. He will tell us where they are available. What we're doing here on radio is just a summary, just talking about the poems. So quickly, I will take this announcement, then we'll talk about the 4th and the 5th one before we run off this conversation. Just to mention that USA-based Cameroonian gospel musicians Pandita and Joy Forze are up with a new one. Both artists have been collaborating for a very long time now, and usually they would come out with a duo. And this time around, there's a new one which they've just announced, and I guess in the next couple of days we will be able to savor this new piece. And they are operating under a new music management titled In Him Management, and hopefully we'll be having the artists on radio to talk about this new project. So just look forward to it. Just to mention again that Pandita and Joy are back with more good things. They're back with the latest project, which we will be talking about in depth here on Apex One Radio subsequently. And they have mentioned that they are operating under a new management called In Him Management. So we will be talking about that in a subsequent broadcast here on Apex One Radio. So, Mottanni, back to you. Tell us about the 4th poem under the EP.
Okay, the 4th poem, this is 4, subtitled The Conversation.
Okay.
It's about, while we were doing research, we had to talk to gender-based violence advocates, we had to talk to gender-based violence victims, and we have to talk to gender-based violence perpetrators. So it's a conversation we had with them, and we got to realize that the gender-based violence advocates, they will say gender-based violence has increased here in Bamenda, the northwest region of Cameroon, and in Africa. It had to increase because of the pandemic, the coronavirus, which had to confine people to a particular space, confine families, making them spending more time together. So in this poem, we are asking ourselves, is it not a good thing that families are spending time together? So why does it have to turn out bad? Because they are spending more time together. And they are also attributing gender-based violence to the cause that religion is also promoting gender-based violence. You can remember sometime last year, the death of one Nigerian gospel artist, a prolific one who died from gender-based violence. And they are saying religion too is promoting this thing because religion has discouraged gender-based violence no matter the case. Religion says to death do us part, so they don't actually encourage those who are suffering from gender-based violence to leave their matrimonial homes. Then when we talk to the victims, some of the victims will tell you that it is because of their inability to support themselves financially. So despite the violence they are going through, the fact that they are being supported financially means that they can endure anything. So the question we were asking them is that, can you not do something to be able to sustain yourself? And some of them were saying that they don't have anywhere to go. The only person they know that can be with them and support them is this particular person that is meting out the violence to them. And we are telling them that you can also be able to sustain yourself. You can also be able to work for yourself, because some of them are just actually lazy. They don't want to work. They just want to be there. So they prefer to endure the violence and be taken care of. So we're telling them that, where do you want to stay here and end up in the grave? Or do you want to go out there and hustle for yourself and be respected and avoid this violence? Then when we spoke to the perpetrators, some of them will say that they will blame it on alcohol. Some of them will blame it on their upbringing. Some of them blamed it on broken dreams. That because they were not able to become that doctor that they dreamt of, they feel so frustrated and they have to release that anger or vent out that anger on maybe their spouse or their loved ones or people around them. So we're trying to make them understand that that is not an excuse. And also parents now who use their daughters as to pay their debts. We're trying to make them understand that these are human beings. Gone are the days of slave trade where you use people to settle debt. They should be able to work and pay their debt. They should be able to respect the woman as she is. That's what that piece is about. It's just a conversation between perpetrators, victims, and advocates of gender-based violence.
Okay. That's a beautiful one. Those conversations must take place. We understand that these social ills are quite embedded in our society, but then we can only get rid of them if we engage in useful conversations. Even when these vices are perpetrated, it can always be fixed. This is Apex One Radio. So the fifth poem, let's talk about it. Then we'll be running off soon.
Okay. The fifth poem is a collaboration with various poets here in the Northwest, poet and spoken word artists. It is written by, I think it's 5 of us. You have Nubia Nabila, who is a spoken word poet here in Bamenda. You have Famous Ink, or they call him Yeka Desmond, who is a spoken word here in Bamenda. Then we have MBA, or Attempting Victor, who they had to come in to amplify the message. They have to come in and add their voice to gender-based violence advocacy so that the message can be well heard. And throughout all the pieces, we have Afro-Justice Ritual Gospel artists, Zita Light, and we also have Jack Lloyd, who are those who came in with the music to make the instrumental more meaningful, to bring out more the message in the piece. So the fifth poem, basically, I didn't do much there. It's just the other poets who came in and said, since you're doing this thing, let us come in together so that they say one will chase 10,000 and two to the 10,000 and will chase hundreds of thousands, so that we can both amplify the separation of gender-based violence and also help victims and survivors alike.
All right.
So they tackled violence in relationships. They tackled early marriages. They tackled incest and female genital mutilation. They also talked. They were just short stories that both of them share in that particular piece.
That's interesting. So, what is the title again?
It is Bruises 5, which is titled "The Violence."
The Violence. Okay.
Yes.
Beautiful. And so we have an EP here with 5 solid pieces. The genesis of gender-based violence. We have the healing pill. We have the remorse. There is the conversation, and of course, the violence, which is a collaboration with 4 poets. You said, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And so these beautiful pieces all constitute a beautiful package that is being put out there by Mottanni in his latest EP. And so I understand the audio versions are available. Do you hope to make videos of the poems?
That is what we are doing of recent. For now, we are distributing the audio, and to do the video, we are trying to partner with gender-based violence advocates and organizations here in the Northwest, so that we can actually give justice to the audios that you're listening to do good videos that can last a lifetime, that can help whoever is a victim or a perpetrator to be able to come out of this act. Because we live in a community where people who are perpetrators of gender-based violence sometimes go scot-free because either they are influential or they have the dough. So we want to build a community where we can be able to conscientize them so that they don't even get into the act. They don't even get into that act so that we can both live in a better community, all of us.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what are your expectations? Where do you hope to, take this project to, or what kind of impact do you hope to have on its audience?
One thing that the project has done so far is that those involved in the project, after listening to the project, I had the testimony from one of them who said that I cannot understand how much this point, especially the Bruises too, speaks to her situation or to what she has gone through. And that was fulfilling enough for me. So, but what I'm saying here is that we are hoping that this goes out to raise more awareness about gender-based violence, whether domestic violence, verbal violence, rape, and female genital mutilation, so that people can listen more. Because that's why we have to bring music into it to make it soothing, so that you can listen to it over and over, and as you listen to it over and over, you sink into your subconscious. So that when you have that opportunity, or when that circumstance shows up where you're supposed to be violent, that song that you listen to can pop up in your mind and help you be able to hold yourself not to do that. And then it should also go out. We are hoping that it goes out so that victims can be able to use the Bruises too as skills to help them heal, to help them speak out, so that the perpetrators can be brought to book.
All right. Well, that's a beautiful one there. Hopefully, we'll find time again and, throw more light on this latest EP. The artist is in Banana, live on Apex 01 Radio. Mottanni, want to thank you so much. That's all we have time for today. And like I mentioned, you will be back on this platform not too long from now, so we can even evaluate, how much impact this EP would have created. So how can people listen to the recorded versions?
Okay.
How can people listen to it?
Thank you so much. Beautifully said. The EP comes along with an ebook. It comes along with an ebook, and we have our local website there in Bamenda, in Cameroon, where we can sell this thing too. If you go to www.enowdigital.com, www.enowdigital.com, that's where Cameroonians can purchase the EP and the ebook with mobile money, orange money, whatever mobile money version to use, or Visa cards, or even MasterCard. That's where Cameroonians can purchase, wherever you are in Cameroon or in Africa. And then all over the world, it's available on www.bandcamp.com. www.bandcamp.com. On Bandcamp, wherever you are in the world, you can be able to savor the EP and the ebook, and you can be able to support the project by purchasing them.
All right. So it would be wise to support the project by purchasing these works. And like you said, if you want to get exposed to it, you simply have to go to www.bandcamp.com. Am I correct?
Yes, bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp is BANDCAM. That's bandcamp.com. Bandcamp.com.
BANDCAMP.com.
MP. Okay. All right. And could you just drop other contacts?
Okay. You can also get, if you want to support the project, because we want to produce the videos and we want to do tours, not just in Bamenda, but all over Cameroon and Africa alike, you can also get to Mottanni on desmonddestiny@gmail.com. desmonddestiny@gmail.com. And you can call the numbers +237 695 614 947. I take the numbers again, +237 695 614-947. You can get to us on WhatsApp, Telegram, or whatever social media. Just type Mottanni, and we will be able to have a discussion and push this project further.
We want to thank you so much for joining us on the program today, Mottanni. Congrats on the good job you are doing, and hopefully you'll be back on this platform not too long from now. Do have a fantastic rest of the day.
Thank you so much, Ernest, for always having me and for promoting poetry here in Cameroon and Bamenda especially. Thank you so much. Thank you to our audience too. See you next time.
All right, see you next time. His name is Mottanni. Just rounded off there. He was live from Bamenda in this edition of The Show. And so that is how we are putting a full stop to this edition of Apex Anthology on Apex One Radio. But just before we go away, let's announce that Telem Uncommon Sounds would be in the United States of America come August this year for the Global Musician Workshop. And of course, this will be in collaboration with the Sierra Leonean Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. That group is comprised of three very, very talented singers, including solos beat. There is Kate Crontiris and, of course, Iya Bode. So we'll be having them on Apex One in the next couple of weeks to throw more light on this upcoming project. Then, just to end by saying that Pandita and Joy are back with a new project. The gospel musicians based in Texas have just announced that they will henceforth be operating under a new management known as In Him Management. We'll come back to that information in our subsequent broadcast here on Apex One Radio. But for now, we want to say thank you so much for having been with us throughout this edition of Anthology. Do have a fantastic rest of the weekend. Maxwell was the producer. Enes Kanjo is my name. Special thanks to Sharon Jone, the content manager of this show. Do have the rest of your Sunday in grand style. Bye for now, and may God bless you. I will live in the company of Telem Uncommon Sounds in Dele.
Dele, 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 dele. Be anything if you play the music for me, dele, 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 oh dele, 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 dele. When you owe me me up, oh, dele. You know how you can make me feel, and I can be anything if you do it and you promise me, dele. The pattern just the beat, the trumpet make it sound. All man do yo, and they let take me home. Oh, pattern just the beat, the trumpet make it sound. Oh, man, do yo, and they'll take me home. Oh, dele, 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 oh, dele, 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 the beat, the trumpet making sound. I want to hear and they'll take me home. The music can me go. Music, they can me go. Music can me Music, they can me go. Attention from everybody. Oh, you want all you lost all. As you sell yourself, now so the world go by you. Attention from everybody. Oh, you want all you lost all. As you sell yourself, now so the world go by. to me, not to me. Love is me there, love is me there, love is me there, love is me there.